Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. CDL Playoffs have wrapped up. Couple days of intense competition. A lot of matches went the way I thought. A lot of matches didn't go the way I thought. I'm joined with my friend Josh again here. Say hi, Josh.
Hello.
And we're going to kind of talk over what happened in CDL Playoffs and look forward to CDL Champs. So first thing I want to talk about happened in the Paris Legion versus Seattle Surge game. It happened early, and that was the kind of the glitch that Paris was using in Domination. So I'm going to bring up Slack's tweets here, and we'll take a look to see what happens here. I don't know. He posted a video. I don't know how well the video is, but I'm going to play this video for you guys. And it's kind of hard to tell um, what happened, but I'll read you what Slack said here. And he said, how does Zed die before Dens and spawn in before him? Oh yeah, that's right, because he's cheating. LOL. So happy this year is over. Wow. And then he followed this tweet up here with, for context, there is a glitch in Domination where you spawn between 1.8 and 2.5 and you don't have to wait the full 5 seconds to respawn. People agree not to do it. So he kind of worded it really weird, but basically what he's saying is that it was Dens, I believe, that died after Zed and spawned in before Zed because he was using a glitch that allows them to spawn in kind of like in between the ticks, I guess. Um, so I know, Josh, you didn't see this, but do you have any comments about maybe the integrity of this in general or what goes on or why this is like
I mean, it,
trash?
it doesn't make sense to me at all because, right, you had the start menu glitch that people knew about, and so they were abusing that, and then they finally figured out and they patched it. I'm not even sure the patch even worked, and now you have this glitch coming out, which, sure, you'd think that there'd be like integrity there just because you're all pros. Also, they were up 2-0. You're playing the Surge. Did you really need to cheat in order to win? What's a 3-1 to a 3-0? Like, you're winning the match, you're getting your 100K. Like, why cheat if you don't have to? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I know whenever London played Paris a little later in the tournament, they kind of made a comment calling out Paris. Paris did stop using the glitch apparently after this match, but it's kind of, just shitty. This is playing in the background. Kind of shitty that they used this glitch against Seattle. Not that it mattered because they were up 2-0, but the players I guess agreed to not use this glitch because it, basically kind of ruins Dom in some regards if you can cut the respawn timer, and so for them to actually use that glitch kind of brings us into the second problem here with what happened the first 2 days with a lot of teams getting booted offline and kind of the controversy over, restarting matches when you get booted. So obviously in the Optic versus Guerillas match, Kenny got booted offline in both hard points, and that resulted in Dashy coming in and playing the map 5, just because Kenny didn't want to get booted. And I'll see if I can pull up the rule here. I'll find it. But basically, there was ruling changes they made after the whole Seattle, um, conundrum earlier in the year with the hardpoint disconnect, where they disconnected when they were winning, and it basically just talks about if the score is less than 150 and some other stuff, they'll replay it. But so yeah, Kenny got hit off twice, and I believe it was Zero on the Ravens that also got hit off in their game. So there was issues with people booting offline. And first, before we get into talking about switching to pre-recorded instead, I want to kind of talk about why the ruling they do is the most fair. And kind of going back to about the player integrity, if you have a ruling that allows them to replay a match anytime that someone gets disconnected, you're opening Pandora's box there. Like, that ruling is just asking to be abused. Like, oh, I'm losing the game, let me just pull my internet out. Oh, this team is mounting a huge comeback on me, let me just pull my internet out. So everyone's saying, oh, this is ridiculous, they should just restart. And it's like, the precedent that restarting that would set would just be insane. I'm actually going to pull up a tweet by Adam, what's his last name? Apicielli, the guy that worked on CWL last year. He actually put out a tweet about this earlier in the year, again when that whole Seattle controversy happened, and he basically says, the exact same thing I do about the precedent that would set. And I mean, he just has a little more say and respect in the field. So Josh, if you want to talk about your opinions on the replay rules and stuff and what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think pros were even tweeting at it after the Seattle game, like, oh, if you're going to allow people to do that, well, I'm just gonna have my router set up right next to me. I'll be ready to unplug whenever we start losing. And like, it's dumb things like that. Like, you can't expect rules, you can't expect pros to not look for an advantage when you're playing for $1.5 million. Like, people are going to do scummy things because they want to win the prize. It's just how it is. There's no really getting around it unless we play on a fucking land like every pro wants. But obviously, the conditions are not optimal to play on a, which I don't know about that one. I feel like they could have made it work. Neither here nor there, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll talk about that maybe in another video. But yeah, I mean, you just have the league was being made out to be the bad guys here, but the league has to create a rule somewhere, and I mean that's probably the most fair role that they can have in an unideal situation, obviously. And so that's going to tie into having them move the matches to be pre-recorded. So after the first 2 days where they had trouble booting, they ended up with they were playing the matches a couple hours ahead of time before they were on stream. So I mean, and the match was at 3 p.m. Eastern time. They were playing that match 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, and then just live streaming it later. That way it was already over. They didn't have to worry as much about people getting booted mid-game. Josh, I know I was texting you about that decision and what you thought of it. I thought personally, again, unideal situation they even have to play online, but if the trade-off between not getting booted and playing offline, doing it pre-recorded, that's what they need to do. I think that was the right decision. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously the right decision because once again, the people are booting are the people who are doing the bracket challenge for $10,000. They're going to sabotage the team that they had losing to guarantee that they lose. They're playing for their own bracket. But I think it's just crazy how poorly they handled it by uploading the scores immediately after the games were played. So the Chicago New York match, right? It was up like an hour before or whatever.
Yeah, that was.
And you had people in the chat putting the exact score line, and then you had bots flagging it and taking it down. And it's like, guess what? All you're doing by flagging it and taking it down is telling everyone else in the chat, oh, these people are actually right, and this is actually how this match is going to go. When you see 6-2 spammed in the chat for a game 5 search, if you don't flag it, you just think it's people like hyping up the Huntsman, right?
Yeah.
When you see 17 of them get flagged, why do I watch this match? I already know the outcome. What's the point of me watching to watch New York get slapped?
Yep. I mean, they fixed that. I think that was only their first match. It was just the Chicago versus New York match. But I mean, in hindsight, all this stuff is really easy. Like, oh, why didn't they think of this? Why didn't they think of that? But an ideal situation after that New York versus Chicago match, there weren't any more credible leaks that I saw or heard about. So I guess we'll see if Champs is being played pre-recorded as well. I would assume it will be. That's next weekend. So moving on to kind of how our bracket stacked up versus the actual matches. Were there any big surprises? So I'm gonna start here. A couple of my big surprises honestly started first match, Paris versus Seattle. I mean, I knew Paris was better. I had them winning 3-2. Um, Seattle just got absolutely stomped, and I wasn't expecting that. I was really expecting, Apathy and Slacked and Octane to, show up a little bit more and actually give Seattle, at least a little bit of a fighting chance. The next match that I would say really surprised me, Chicago versus Subliners. I mean, both of those teams were pretty close. I think I had Subliners winning 3-2, so Chicago winning 3-2 wasn't that crazy. Ultra versus Florida, though. I mean, Ultra winning 3-1. I did not see that coming at all. That was a huge surprise to me. Ultra was just playing really, really well towards the end of the season. Optic 3-0ing Florida. I mean, I would say that I'm surprised just because I didn't even think Florida would be down here in losers. But I mean, Optic is hot. I knew with Slasher and Kenny and all of them, I knew they were going to come into Champs and start swinging. The 3-2 Chicago versus Optic match where Chicago won, I mean, that was an absolutely crazy round 11. You can't ask for a better match. My biggest surprise in this entire tournament right now is London making top 4. I mean, in our video last week, we talked about London just being a middle-of-the-pack team all season, and London apparently, came out to play this weekend after they lost winners round 1. So they have won, 3 games in losers, and they've gone the hard. They've taken the hard route. They avenged their 3-1 loss to Ultra after they beat them 3-1 in Elim round 4. They beat Paris 3-1 in Elim round 2, so the battle for Europe. London have the last laugh for that this year, and London beat Subliners 3-2, who were looking really hot at the end of this year, beating Rocker 3-1 and then Chicago losing to them 3-2. So London are looking really interesting and really hot. I mean, they have a full weekend off, so I'll be really curious to see if they can continue that momentum into next week. Again, Chicago in Elim round 5, and then up in winners finals, FaZe versus Empire. That's exactly what, I think most people had in their brackets, so no real surprise there. Josh, if you want to talk about anything with your bracket, any surprises you thought of this weekend or what, go ahead.
Oh, my bracket is a disaster. It wasn't surprises. It was just me being really unaware of how this was going to go. Oh man, the Ultra game, the Ultra Mutineers game, that one messed up the bracket real bad. I had Chicago and New York going 3-2. Granted, the only difference was one round in the first search.
Yep.
That round goes a little bit differently. I was right. It is what it is. And then my Dallas setup where they play completely wrong. Literally nothing was right there. My bracket's just kind of falling apart. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone's bracket's kind of falling apart. I mean, there's no perfect brackets remaining. No one wins that 100K.
I think
You and I are both also out of the running for the
10K.
10K. I think those winning brackets right now are in like 78 some points. I have 35, you have 29.
Like
so
79 or something.
yeah. So yeah,
I
neither
think
of
you
us
only
are
have like
winning that.
matches too.
So all right, and kind of to wrap this video up. Champs weekend, next weekend. I want to put a note here in case anyone didn't know. They're doing the viewership rewards again next weekend. So if you want to watch on the Call of Duty League website, you get some rewards in game. I don't know what it is exactly, but if you had completed the rest of them earlier in the season like I did and were waiting, they have them for next weekend. So make sure you have that on the background. And actually, one more thing about that. I don't know if you saw, this weekend they had like a little stats thing where you can actually like watch individual player cams and like it pull up stats and stuff throughout on the Call of Duty League website. So that was really cool. I don't know. Did you see that, Josh?
No, I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Did you have to like watch it on the CDL website?
on the CDL website, there's like a plugin in the bottom right that's like it says CDL, I believe, and it shows you can do individual player cam, so you can click on any player cam and have it in the bottom right, and it has like stats, so like kills and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it was like an overlay, and it was actually pretty cool. They just added it this weekend.
The rewards thing, is that like new rewards from the ones that they gave out through the regular season?
Yeah, new rewards. So if you finish the regular rewards through the regular season, they now have new rewards for Champs Weekend. So, like I
Okay.
said, I forget exactly what it is, but open it in the app and have it going in the background again. So, all right. Without further delay, the final four teams, Champs Weekend. Do we regret our original brackets? And some of them are slightly different. I mean, both of us, we both had FaZe and Empire in the finals, but neither of us, I believe, had Chicago or London. So
We can still work this out. We have FaZe and Empire in the finals. All right, that's all.
exactly,
We
yeah.
we can make it.
We still can have our champions win, but that Elam round 5, Heinzman versus London, with how well Scump has been playing this weekend, and I mean T2P was out in full force. I think Chicago beats London. I say I'm gonna say 3-2. Chicago wins. And then I really don't know. I'm still sticking with Dallas winning the whole thing. FaZe versus Chicago in Elim finals. I think it's gonna be a toss up. I can give either team, but I'm still gonna stick with Dallas winning the whole thing. What do you think, Josh?
So I am hesitant on the London Chicago game because look back at last year. What team was that sleeper team that made a crazy run that no one expected? It was Reciprocity. Who was on that roster?
I don't even
It's the
remember
Royal
who was
Ravens.
on it.
It's the Royal Ravens roster.
Yeah.
They were
Reciprocity didn't make.
Reciprocity.
They did make a decent run. I'm
They
thinking
made a
100 Thieves that
large
finished
losers
second.
run.
But yeah.
They made a crazy losers run.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they could do the same thing. I'm a little nervous about that match. Obviously, I still have FaZe kicking the ass of Empire. It's going to be a 3-1, I think.
Okay.
But
So
the London game, I think I'm going to give the edge to London on this one.
you're gonna give the
I
edge
think
to London. Okay.
I think London, all they have to do in hardpoint to win is frustrate Scump. You saw in the FaZe game, the games where FaZe won, Scumpy went like 10 and 20. Like he had like a 0.5, 0.75 KD. He was not having that 1.75 that he's been praised for the whole tournament.
Yep.
So I think if they can manage to frustrate Scump, which I think they can, they have a week to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can do it. Also, you have to think that there's like no momentum going into this. There's a week break now. This is a cool off period. So I think that London can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give them the edge. However, I do think they fall to Empire in the next round. I think it's probably like a 3-1, 3-2, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna keep my bracket prediction and say that FaZe win 5-2 in the final.
All right. So I'm sticking with Empire, which is my original team winning. You're sticking with FaZe. I'm a FaZe fan. I won't pick them. You're an Empire fan. You won't pick them. So you know what? I guess we'll see what happens after all of this. I mean, I guess these teams have all week to game plan. There's only 3 other teams that they have to plan for playing. So, I mean, they can ignore every other team and really, set their strats and their play styles to exactly who they could face. So, we are next weekend. I added it up earlier, but the Call of Duty League trophy looks like a PS5 a little bit. Looks funny, but yeah, I'm excited to watch it next weekend. They pulled really good viewership numbers yesterday, and make sure to watch it on the CDL app to get those rewards. Josh, thank you for coming on again. Any last comments?
Sub to my Twitch, dude. I need the viewers.
Yep,
I need the followers.
as like last time, I'll make sure Josh's Twitch is down below in the description. I'll also put my links to my Twitch, Twitter. I might throw my Discord in there. I don't know, haven't decided yet. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.